team pick.
What's up, guys? This is Mike Loris, going to be casting week number 5 of League of Dota. We're really getting up there, halfway to the double digits. And, well, this time it was a slightly smaller turnout because there was an entry fee, but this just proves that these are the teams that actually, they came to play. They didn't come to dick around and, try some wonky strategy that no one's ever seen or anything that probably doesn't work. These guys put a little bit of money on the line, and that makes it a little bit more interesting. This is round number 1, so the variance of play should be a little bit higher than in the next rounds. This is all going to be casted today as well, so semifinals as well as finals is today, whereas normally they are going to be streamed tomorrow. It is all today, which is pretty fun, except for the fact that it might just burn out my voice. We've seen Star Gaming I've seen Star Gaming before. They're going to be on the Dire, and they're going to be going up against Throw Gaming, so SG versus TG. It's kind of weird how that works out, but that's fine. Star Gaming going to be opening up their picks with Crystal Maiden as well as Slark, banning out the Venomancer as well as the Bristleback. Both these heroes, you wouldn't really expect to see them banned out in the first place.
10 seconds remaining. But
then you think about it and you're like, wow, that's actually probably a really good idea. Especially together, Venomancer and Bristleback is just so much slow. You pretty much can't escape that if you get tagged by a stack of goo, or once you get hit with a gale, you're pretty much screwed. Bristleback has been an incredibly powerful hero lately as well. It's kind of weird how like 3 months ago, he would have said, if anyone would have told you that Bristleback would be the next big thing, they would laugh at you and just be like, well, Bristleback can't do anything. But yeah, he's pretty tanky and he does a lot of damage at the same time. And really, when you're picking heroes, what more could you want?
5
now just give him a stun and #1 ban all the time, literally every single game.
Serve time.
So we do have Throw Gaming picking up the Clockwork as well as the Alchemist. Probably not much synergy going to be going on there as far as the laning phase is concerned. Alchemist could be played as a support, would do pretty well versus the Crystal Maiden. Although if Slark does go to the mid lane, Alchemist will struggle quite a bit to gank the Slark. Hell, many heroes struggle quite a bit to gank Slarks. That's pretty much what Slark does.
10 seconds
but
remaining.
I think, well, Slark could go definitely towards the mid lane. Picking up a mid lane hero so early, though, even if it is someone like Slark, who is a little bit more desirable than other heroes, it does reveal your hand, saying, hey, we're going to be laning this, kind of squishy melee hero on the mid lane. And then they're saying, oh, okay, you could choose whatever you want in order to counter that, but they're confident enough that the Slark will do well. There's always a possibility, of course, that the Slark will go on to a side lane. With Lich and Crystal Maiden, you're kind of crowding the lanes, in my opinion, a little bit too much. Sacrifice does help a little bit, but the kill potential from this lane, although it is pretty strong, they have quite a little bit of initiation range.
10 seconds remaining.
They'll really just make the experience spread out too much, in my opinion. Unless Crystal Maiden is really heavy in the jungling, which is, of course, something that Crystal Maiden can do. One of the powerful reasons of picking up a Crystal Maiden is that she could pseudo-jungle. So, between the Lich and the Slark, then the lane will be a little bit more manageable, but if they full-on tri-lane, if in an offensive capability or something like that, then Slark's going to be really delayed on his levels. And Slark, he needs levels, he needs gold. If he doesn't get either, he's going to be really sad. Throw Gaming, they are still sitting on their Alchemist, Clockwork, Weaver, Doom, Bane, as well as a Timbersaw being banned out in this particular game. And, well, just a lot of setup from the Throw Gaming side. Timbersaw just a really difficult hero to deal with. Throw Gaming did have a couple stuns, though, so I think they could have been able to deal with it, but I think that at that point it's mostly just a point of personal preference, also eliminating really good hard lane. Star Gaming targeting the more hard carries that Throw Gaming can pick up, expecting perhaps a support Alchemist, which isn't a terrible thing to assume.
10 seconds remaining.
Picking up that Chen now, Throw Gaming.
5 seconds
I don't really want to say that they're lining themselves up for a huge pushing lineup. They could just be going really aggressive early on with Alchemist as well as Chen. Transition that into a couple pushes. Do something really wonky, but with the Venomancer already banned out, there are a couple heroes that they could go for, but I don't really think, like, Leshrac or Lone Druid or something like that. I don't really know if they're going to be interested in going for that. Star Gaming, they have quite a few tools to pull aggro. They don't really have the greatest initiation yet. It's mostly just Crystal Maiden, hopefully someone, and then Slark pouncing, and then Crystal Maiden freeze biting. Or freezing, frost biting. You know what I mean. Frost biting. Oh well, there's their initiation right there. So, Throw Gaming, if they're going to go for this push, it's probably not going to work out too well for them. Star Gaming do have all the tools that they really need in order to deal with that. The Chen, though, still a very powerful hero nonetheless. He will be able to give your team a little bit of pressure early on, take down the tier 1 towers. Sometimes that is just all you need. You don't have to go all the way and try to crack Raxes at 15 minutes. That is something that you do if you have a Pugna, Death Prophet, Chen, Nature's
10
Prophet, Lone
seconds
Druid, that
remaining.
kind of lineup. But of course they don't, so that's probably not going to happen. They're probably just going to
5
play
seconds
a little bit more
remaining.
slow, especially with this Mirana pick, a hero that does just so much damage early on if
Reserve
she gets her
time.
levels up. Stargaming right now, their two core heroes, Slark as well as Mirana, they just do need a lot of levels, and if Throw Gaming can put on the pressure early on, then the Mirana and Slark are both going to have a little bit of difficulties in the mid game, which normally that's at their strongest point. You know, you're scared of a mid game Slark, you're scared of a mid game Mirana. If you get hit by one of their spells, you're probably going to die, especially if you're a Chen. But if they apply the pressure correctly and just deny experience to the Slark and Mirana, then they should be fine to just take a powerful mid game, have the clockwork to pick the pace of the game, and just ride that out from there. But Mirana, on Star Gaming, I'm thinking it might be a Mirana Crystal Maiden combination. It's a little bit more solid in my opinion than the Slark. I mean, Slark does a lot of damage, but Mirana just has a lot more kill potential with her arrow. So even if you don't have enough damage with the Crystal Maiden and the Mirana right clicks alone, you'll have that huge stun. Whereas Slark, he does have the pounce, but it's not really that much compared to a guaranteed arrow. Throw Gaming can respond to the Mirana with another archer of their own. Wind Ranger going to be the pickup for them. Their lanes, they're kind of utility heavy right now. I'm thinking the Alchemist is going to be going primarily into that carry role at this point, with the Chen as well as Wind Ranger, who are most likely both going to be played as that support role. So Alchemist is going to be getting a lot of farm, and Wind Ranger, a very, very capable hero. If they expect they're going to be going up against Mirana, then the range trades are going to be, at worst, even for both teams. So yeah, a decent hero to harass the enemies back. Not a Venomancer, who's pretty good as well. You know, some threat on him, but doesn't really have the range to support it. So Throw Gaming most likely going to be running with those two heroes. They're going to be playing a very methodical, occasional gank lineup. Wind Ranger is a pretty good partner with Chen because you usually do have, if you have a smoke around or something, you usually do have options for shackle shots. And then, of course, that leads Chen up to a follow-up stun or troll net or what have you. But Throw Gaming going to be looking for their mid lane heroes, as are Star Gaming potentially. At least that's what Throw Gaming is expecting. Death Prophet being the ban out from Star, whereas Throw going to go ahead and get rid of that OD. OD ban, completely understandable because no one likes playing against OD. You just feel dirty when you're playing as OD as well. So it's just a hero that everyone's just better off just ignoring for now. Death Prophet would be pretty well for Throw if they want to do a little bit more heavier into the push. They could still just grab a Pugna and do the exact same thing, but I don't think that's going to be what they want to do. They're going to go for a little bit more of a patient mid-game strategy as opposed to, just balls to the wall pushing all the time. So I think that's probably not what Throw Gaming we're going to want to do, although it would work decently, I think. Get the extra minus armor from the acid spray and to interact with the spirits. It's not a combination that you would ordinarily think of, but hey, it could definitely work. Those spirits already do a lot of damage. Just doing a little bit more per hit, and that'll be a very dead Slark. Star Gaming, they need their mid lane hero unless they want to put the Slark there. Throw Gaming, they also need their mid lane hero. So it's just unfortunately, Star Gaming, they have the disadvantage now. Having this pick at this time means that they show their hand. They could go for something extremely strong like Queen of Pain or something. A very, very high mobility team. And it's going to be Puck, so there we go. Still a very high mobility team. Throw Gaming, they do have some tools to kind of deal with this. They have a good amount of stuns, Wind Ranger as well as Alchemist, Clockwork of course, with his long range initiation. They need to get their stuns down though, because Mirana, Puck, and Slark, all three heroes that Throw Gaming are going to want to kill early and often, are going to be very, very difficult to lock down. Especially once Puck gets his Blink Dagger. Then it'll be nigh impossible for Throw Gaming to actually lock down the Puck. They don't really have the easiest of stuns to land. I mean, the hook shot is really going to be the only thing that they have. Hook shot into a quick shackle shot or something like that. That's very, very difficult to do against a Puck. Shackle shot as well as the Alchemist stun. They both have very, very slow travel times, or at least slow enough so that Pucks can usually dodge them. And the response from Throw Gaming is going to be that Templar Assassin. So that's the disadvantage that I was talking about. The Star Gaming side, they pick the Puck. Hello. Oh, shit. No, okay, that audio isn't on. Okay, well, my open mic was not on. I apologize to anyone watching on Dota TV. I just went through the entire draft on stream, but this open mic thing, it's annoying, and I completely forgot about it. So my sincerest apologies to everyone listening. on Dota TV right now. Unfortunately, I don't really know if there's any way for me to look at how many people are doing that, but yeah, that's fine, I guess. I'm assuming it's like millions of people. But here we go, just a small pause. But the Templar Assassin pick, in response to the puck, is really what I was talking about, with the disadvantage that Stargaming side have, being the Dire, having that first pick, especially once they delayed their choice of mid lane onto the last one, is that Templar Assassin is pretty much going to hard counter the puck. And puck can occasionally kill a TA, but puck is not a hero that does any sort of damage over time. This is a very bursty spell, Illusory Orb, as is Waning Rift, as is Dream Coil. And you know what's great against bursty spells? Refraction. And Stargaming, they don't really have many great things at all to burn through refraction with the exception of Slark's Dark Pact. Everything else is just high burst. So Templar Assassin should be getting some pretty good value out of those refraction charges. Really should use that value in order to dominate the puck. The refraction will of course give the TA a damage advantage as well, so I expect the puck to have a little bit of difficulty in the early stage of the game. The puck can't damage trade the TA, at least if TA does do some effective spilling with her blades. The puck will be able to poke at the TA at first for a couple levels, but at a certain point TA will just be able to be like, screw it, you know, I'm tired of taking your right clicks, I'm just going to go and kill you now, and the puck probably won't die. But just having that pressure coming out from the TA will make life very difficult for the puck. This is going to mean that I think it's going, well, I don't really know. Mirana, as well as Slark. I don't really know which one's going to be in a tri-lane, but I definitely think it actually could be dual lanes. I mean, Slark Lich is pretty devastating. Mirana CM is also pretty good. The only concern I have for that is that the tri-lane for Throw Gaming is probably going to end up being Alchemist, Chen, as well as Wind Ranger. And that's, you know, kind of too... Okay, we cannot join the lobby. Yeah, GG guys, well done. Alright guys, we're gonna have a remake with AP. We're almost dead. Leave game. Create a lobby. I'll pick. Death Prophet being the ban out from Star where and get rid of that OD. Quick remake guys with AP. Here we go. Take two. Alright guys. Open mic should be on now, so anyone watching in game, you should have at least decent audio and you should be able to hear what I'm saying now. And this is an AP remake for anyone who's just joining in. So the draft has already finished, so we just gotta wait for these heroes to get back in, pick all their heroes, and then we will get this show on the road for the second time. Get the show back on the road. So whoever took the show off the road in the first place, bad person right there. Maybe we'll just sit on net worth. I don't really like sitting on net worth for the beginning, just because I don't really think it's very useful. I think gold per minute, probably last hit denies, but I do think gold per minute is better. Level 1 Roshan. It's time for level 1 Roshan. Zed, what's the deal, Zed? We're not hosting an intergalactic kegger. Well, there we go. Zed's back. Zed is not dead. At least not now. Alright, so we're just going to be blasting through the hero picks right here, and then we're going to be getting into the main part of the game. TG with that Templar Assassin pick to kind of counter off the puck that Star Gaming had picked up. They're going to probably go for a little bit more of an aggressive mid game, whereas SG probably going to be doing the same thing. So I expect this to be a rather tame early game. It should be just the lanes that are the bottom lane mostly. That's going to be the most dangerous for both of these sides. I expect it to be a Mirana CM on the bottom lane for Star Gaming, and then of course having the Chen Wind Ranger as well as the Alchemist tri-lane from TG. Putting the Clockwork up on top, just using those cogs to mess with the Slark, and ideally that would be pretty good for TG, I think. Clockwork is a hero that should be able to handle himself versus a Lich as well as a Slark. You'll always be in a little bit of danger just being in a 1v2 lane, but I think with the cogs he should be fine. There we go, and we're back into this game, guys. So we are going to be going over who's playing what, because I've already said pretty much all I have to say on this draft.
Prepare for battle.
Yeah, I don't think I could say anything else, but on the Star Gaming side, we have Pink as Agent Flo playing that Slark. CNNA is going to be on the puck, most likely going to the mid lane. Handball is on the Crystal Maiden, supporting with Alvin on his Lich. That leaves ANA on the Mirana going towards the bot lane, as I predicted, although the two supports going somewhere else. I guess Lich is going to sit in the mid lane for the first sacrifice, but I do think it's going to be dual lanes for Star Gaming. I don't really... They could try to go for tri-lane with the Slark. No, Slark is going to be on the solo mid lane. This could be a little bit interesting. You might see something a little bit different here. Z91 is going to be on the Templar Assassin, and the mid lane for TG. Eat My Dagon is going to be on the Clockwork. That leaves Sly Narrow on the Alchemist.
Battle.
Probably hard carrying. Tank is going to be on the support Chen, and PTP is on the Wind Ranger. This little bit of a mix-up from Star Gaming, in my opinion, is incredibly smart. They know that the TA is going to be going mid. I mean, the only other possibility, I guess it could be a Clockwork. It definitely won't be an Alchemist mid, not the line that TG have. Well, I guess it is possible, but either way, Slark is going to be doing well against any of those three heroes, and probably a lot better than the puck. I said in the last game, the first half of this series, I guess, that the TA is a pretty good hard counter versus the puck because she's so bursty. Slark is the only hero that has a tool that can get rid of those fraction charges quickly in the Dark Pact, and I think that's exactly what Star Gaming are kind of reading TG to actually expect. And I mean, you do expect the TA to go into the mid lane. It's going to be a TA versus Slark matchup, and that's not as bad of a matchup for Star Gaming as it could have been. That is going to put Mirana on the bot lane with Lich. We are going to be seeing a little bit of roaming CM action, probably going to hang towards the top lane. CNNA is going to be up here versus Eat My Dagon. This should be a matchup that puck is favored to win. So in this little bit of a lane switch, Slark as well as the puck is going to favor Star Gaming on both ends, in my opinion. Now Stray Arrow. Ooh, ANA going for the early aggression. I don't really think you could hit anyone with an arrow that early. Like, honestly, unless they're asleep at the wheel, that's just not going to work ever. Because that wasn't even, like, from the trees. That was just like, hey, I'm just going to walk right here and shoot an arrow down. And if you get hit, then like you should probably open your other eye because you're in the middle of a game. But ANA as well as all around on this bottom lane, they won't have the most kill potential. Oh god, no!
First blood.
Well,
Middle tower is under attack.
How did that? I don't even. God damn it! I'm the best. I am the best to have ever lived. I don't know how the hell that happened. Oh, TA was only level 1 and then got into a duel. I was not expecting a first blood to happen for a long time, just because mid lane shouldn't have died there. Top lane could only die if this happens, and handball was still jungling. And of course the bottom lane is where I was watching. There's no aggression happening either way, except a little bit of aggression with an attempted arrow. But honestly, a mid lane kill like that should not have happened at all. I mean, Slark's a decent mid lane hero, but I guess he had just a level advantage, and now he has 2 levels advantage over this TA. This TA is, I mean, staying even as far as the CS goes, but just having one kill, a solo kill nonetheless. Agent Flo taking a huge leap forward ahead of Zed. That shouldn't have happened at all, but well, that definitely did. And well, now Zed does have the refraction, so now that she'll actually be able to stand and fight the Slark if she does get
Denied.
pounced. But that first death, that shouldn't have happened at all. I mean, I don't know how many times I can actually say it. That was just a complete surprise. And level 1 Slark is dangerous, but not that dangerous. Jeez, unless they were trading hits, and it definitely didn't look like that. I don't know. I definitely don't know, guys. But now I will be sure to keep my eyes on this mid lane. TA with level 3. Level 2 Refraction, though, should be just fine versus the Slark. Refraction will get burned once again by Dark Pact, but that's about it. Should be fine to not miss any more kills. But we do see PTP as well as Tank. They did draw a line, going around to the other side of the bottom tier 1 tower. They can probably get a Lich kill out of that, but that's incredibly dangerous still. I mean, they do have the Centaur. They might actually catch Alwyn right here with an Illusion Rune as well. They are not going to land the Centaur Stomp, though. Held it for a little bit too long. That was, for sure, a stomp on the Lich. May or may not have been a kill. PTP. Don't really know what the hell happened. I think he was taking a bath with the Wolves. Probably don't want to do that as such a low-level Wind Ranger. Bad idea. But, if the stomp did land, then the Wind Ranger would have easily been able to shackle up to the high ground and do one of these things. That probably would have been a dead Lich, but Lich, fortunately for him, does get out of the situation, and that would have also bought enough time for Slime Arrow to get in there with the Unstable Concoction. That would have definitely been a nail in the coffin. Well, per minute right now, being led by Mirana, 17 for 4. Really not being pressured as much as I thought she would be. They could definitely go for kills on this Mirana, though. Tank currently smoked up with his entire Centaur party. PTP does have a Shackle, and it's going to be very difficult for them to kill the Mirana if they don't land that Shackle. Shackle onto Mirana, and meantime, Handball going to get cogged upon, actually not cogs just yet, just the Battery Assault. My Dagon now going to eat an orb from CNNA. There is a level 1 Silence, but that won't be enough with the bottle going through from the Clockwork. Eat My Dagon, going to play some games with CNNA, although with that little juke that might have just cost him his life, he's going to put up the cogs. They should be just fine. In the meantime, bottom lane stun. Going on to Alwyn. There's a follow through stomp from the Centaur. That's going to be the death of the Lich. ANA going to try to get a return kill on Tank. He's going to take quite a beating, and the Shackle Shot saving Tank, as well as securing a kill onto ANA. Beautiful Shackle Shot from PTP, giving Sly Narrow, the carry Alchemist, a double kill. That was incredibly risky dive from Tank, but he did manage to survive, so, sometimes you just got to go for that heavy risk because the prize is so good. Alchemist going to take quite a beating as the Lich returns to the lane, but he should be fine. He has 2 tangos. He might want to go for a Hand of Midas. He might want to go for Fast Armlet. Either way, I think he will be just fine to sit in this lane. He will be a little bit weaker for a little bit, but getting a double kill on that bottom lane is absolutely huge. Mirana didn't have a chance to hit the arrow, and the Lich got completely stun locked in the trees. And well, the power shot I think actually missed. If I was watching that correctly, power shot missed, but the Shackle Shot, that sure as hell landed. Saved the Chen's life. Even if it was a one for one trade like that, even if the Chen did die, I don't really think Throw Gaming will be really too concerned about that, because they would have gotten the Mirana anyway, and the Lich already died, and the Alchemist already got those kills, so they already won, and that was just like icing on the cake for them. You see a little bit of rotation now. CM finally deciding to leave the top lane, smoked up, and looking for the mid lane. Does have Frostbite. That's actually a pretty good tool as well in dealing with TA, but Agent Flo going to need to play a little bit passively. Zed going to pop the Refraction. This is the perfect time for them to go around. Handball going to get in for a very, very easy Frostbite. There is actually level 1 Nova, so Zed does have the meld as well, and is instantly in a Sentry Ward. Zed, I don't think should be able to escape, although he's running pretty quickly. Does have a bottle as well. There's the invisibility from Agent Flo. Another pack is going to completely whiff on Zed. Agent Flo, don't attack the tower. That's not what you want to do. Sentry now out of range of the Templar Assassin. Meld will save the TA. Handball and Agent Flo, which should have been a kill in this mid lane.
Radiant's
TA
middle
just
tower
getting out
is
of there
under
with
attack.
just by the skin of her teeth. Just gonna return back home. 21 for 11. Now Slark 9 for 7. Wow, okay, this is the lane that I thought I was gonna be seeing. This is exactly what I thought. 9 for 7 Slark versus the TA with the refraction damage. I think just with the base damage advantage as well. Yeah, just gonna be dominating the lane. That's why I was so surprised when the first kill happened from the Slark, but we could see it not really phasing Zed all too much. The Templar Assassin has recovered and then some. Now firmly in control of the lane, even with that death. Another just blind arrow from ANA. I mean, not necessarily blind, but no setup, and that's not an arrow that you're gonna land. It's actually incredibly easy to dodge arrows. Like, it's not a hard thing to do, especially when you see the hero moving towards you. And
Dire's
it's not an arrow that's going to
middle
land.
tower
Sly
is under
Narrow, not
attack.
getting the most farm. ANA still getting a lot of farm. However, TG, even if they don't get farm in the Alchemist, they're getting a lot of farm in the TA in the mid lane. And they're going to be completely okay with that. If they want to go for the race car build in TA, Drums, Power Treads, Yasha, or if they just want to go for the classic Phase Boots, Blink Dagger, either way, the Templar Assassin is going to be the one buying the space in the mid game.
Dire's top
That's really
tower
what
is
they're going to
under
depend
attack.
upon. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Eat My Dagon, Low is going to jump right into the cogs, pop an Illusion Rune as well. Eat My Dagon can take quite a beating, can take a lot of damage, and that orb going to kill him off. Eat My Dagon in the top lane. Getting a little bit too close to Agent Flow. That level 4 pounce landing is absolutely devastating. In the meantime, bottom lane, Alchemist gets killed. I think that was just an arrow. Yeah, that was a stray arrow. I don't know if there was any setup that
Radiant's
time.
top tower is under
Throw
attack.
Gaming very quickly losing 2 heroes, and well, Chen still farming up the jungle, although not totally farming up the jungle. He does know that there's a little bit of rotation. This Observer Ward giving the Chen a lot of intel as to the whereabouts of this bottom lane. However, this Chen hasn't been ganking really, aside from that first gank. He hasn't been applying too much pressure to the lanes. Hasn't been doing any, Harpy, Stormcrafter, or Wild Wing Tornado
Radiant
shenanigans.
structures are
He's
fortified.
not farming as fast as Chen could farm, and he's not ganking as aggressively as a Chen can gank. He is falling behind a little bit, although he's still not too far behind. He's doing decently. He should be have a little bit more of the mech, I feel, at this point. ANA, in the meantime, does have a Hand of Midas, whereas the Alchemist has gone for the Power Treads, so it looks like Alchemist is not going to go for any sort of late-game farming build. He's going to go for the early-game fighting build, and I think that is a good choice right now, especially once you see the Mirana going for the Hand of Midas. You could get no extra acceleration from the Alchemist and still be doing just as much damage as the late game Mirana, if not more damage, because it's an Alchemist versus the Mirana. Eat My Dagon now, getting a little bit too close. He's getting a pounce upon Dream Coil as well. Eat My Dagon is so very dead. Slark going to secure that kill, and this tower also is receiving quite a beating. CNNA, Puck on this top lane, utterly dominating this Clockwork. Clockwork does have quite a bit of CS, but Puck still pushing the tower, and Slark now picking up a tower kill. That's going to give him enough gold to finish off his Power Treads, and maybe a little bit of another item. Orchid would be not bad, wouldn't be terrible. Power Treads, first and foremost, and this Slark is getting his levels, he's getting his farm. Even after losing the first death, he's going to be just fine. Alren sticking around for way too long. There's the Unstable Concoction, and PTP can have all the time in the world to line up an easy Shackle shot. Alren, who launched Chain Frost, this might do a little bit of damage, although the creep wave is here, and the Delta Split is there as well. These poor melee creeps, they did not expect any of it, but they're definitely going to pay. Sly Narrow as well as PTP getting a very easy kill on the Lich, whereas ANA has actually left the lane. It could have been the Mirana in that dangerous situation, although I think at that point Mirana would just leap out and then would be, well, the Shackle Shot would be possible since she would leap to around here and then you could shackle this way or this way. That beautiful drawing, I know. So I don't even know if Mirana would have been safe there, but Mirana taking a bit of a leave to try to gank Zed, who's still receiving quite a bit of CS from the Throw Gaming side. However, Star Gaming still in a comfortable position in this game, having the gold earned lead, having the EXP earned lead as well. That one tower really helping them out. They might end up fighting a little bit, and this is exactly what Agent Flow wants. Packing a double damage rune. He has the mana for everything he actually wants right now. And, well, he's going to use his ultimate just to scout out for wards. He knows that he is completely safe right now, but there's actually going to be no fight here. Could have been really messy if Clockwork got a hook shot in, but Clockwork going for a balanced build. This could easily be a maxed out battery assault right now, but deciding not to go for that. He's instead looking at ANA. They'll need a couple of good chain stuns. It has to be Wind Ranger with the Shackle Shot. But I think, was that brown or orange that pinged? I don't know. It might have been brown. In which case, this gank is probably not going to land at all, though ANA not really behaving like it. This could be a very dead Mirana. They need PTP to go in. They need the stun to be perfect. There's the Unstable Concoction, forcing out the leap into an easy cog. There's no Chain Frost for this one. Shackle Shot not going to land, but ANA doesn't have any escapes. Here comes Zed for an easy right click. That's going to get him the kill. Handball now get a Frostbite up Zed, and a 3-man coil coming in from the Puck. CNNA going to come in for a little bit of damage, but there's no follow-up there. Another stun on CNNA. Going to take a missile to the face as well. Power Shot not going to do it, but here comes Agent Flow from the side with double damage. He does still have his pounce. He wants the TA. He's probably going to get her as well. Reading the juke. He's going to use the Dark Hack to burn through the refractor charges, and Zed going to try to fight his way out. It's not going to work. Eat My Dagon to take chunked down so much by Agent Flow's double damage. Now Sly Narrow, the last one. He's trying to get away. Chen, in the meantime, is having no part of it. He's like, fuck you guys. You guys could go and die. Sly Narrow is exactly what he's going to be doing. Puck's going to secure that kill and teleportation back onto the bottom lane. PTP, this is actually really dangerous. This Slark does still have a double damage rune. PTP is going to get messed up. They're just going one at a time like the Power Rangers. PTP throwing his life away. That was a completely unnecessary teleportation, giving Slark another kill. But Slark, he's a dangerous hero if he gets a lot of farm. He's an even more dangerous hero if you let him snowball like this. 503. That, I mean, Agent Flo is going to be in complete control of this game from here on out. He has now 2,300 gold. He could go for a Demon Edge if he wanted to. I doubt he's going to be going for a Demon Edge, but that's something that he could do just because he can. He's rich. He can do whatever he wants, right? And TG, I mean, it was a good attempt on the Mirana. They did get the hero, but with all that teleportation support, it just wasn't worth it for them. Once they got caught by the coil, even though there wasn't really much damage output coming from SG at that point, the coil just kept them there long enough so that Agent Flo could run in. And really, that's all they really wanted, because Agent Flo, as I said before, did have the double damage rune. And ordinarily you would say it's not really a huge deal. It's 13 minutes in the game. How much damage could he honestly do? Well, if he's landing easy pounces, if he has a maxed out Dark Pact, it'll do a lot of damage. Like, it's just, and they don't have any tools against it. They used everything on the Mirana. They wasted everything. They didn't have anything to deal with Agent Flo, and hell, even if they did, Shadow Dance is pretty good at dealing with that. You see Agent Flo as well as CNNA now finding PTP one. Apologies for that one. Had to check the stream was going well. It was on the wrong tab, of course, as it always is. However, we did see that kill. Puck dropping the coil to grab a support Wind Ranger. At this point, still very much so worth it. Dream Coil is an important spell, but hell, if you get those kills, get a accelerated Blink Dagger, which now Puck is very, very close to, and well, the Puck is not going to die. The Alchemist cannot kill this Puck right now, so CNNA, for all intents and purposes, does have a completed Blink Dagger on that bottom lane. And, well, TG, they don't really have anything in order to combat that. They will soon have a TA, or I guess, I don't actually think TA could get a Blink Dagger too soon now, especially when TA dies. Agent Flo dropping very low. However, he does have enough damage to just go to town on that TA. Agent Flo popping the ultimate at the last possible second, baiting a TA into that fight. He's going to be just fine. Shadow Dance can restore him up, and you know, if that wasn't enough, he has Regen Rune on top of that. So now the Puck has a Blink Dagger. The Slark is going for a... Well, he already has the Yasha. I don't know if he's going to be going for a complete mana style, but he's going to be hunting heroes left and right. There's the pounce. Cogs a little bit too late. Wouldn't have mattered either way. Daggett once again going to drop Agent Flo, getting solo kill after solo kill. And the bot lane, we might see a little bit of initiation from this Puck. Does have a Blink Silence, however, that's it. Gotta go for the body block. Slinero gonna get Frostbite. There's the Nova Handball. Gonna get the Frostbite, but it's a little bit too late. Here comes Lich from the back end. Alrin does have a Chain Frost, however, I think this... Well, he's not spotted just yet. Is he still not spotted? I think he just got out of there completely fine. PTP not looking too healthy, however. Here comes the Chen. Does he have a mech? He better have the mech. Yes, he does. Has a mech, has a Hand of God. However, Agent Flo, will that really phase him? He's going to go straight in for that Chen. Chen doesn't have a stomp, doesn't have anything. He has sick jukes, though. Tank and hide with all his creeps buffering him. PTP, though, not going to be as lucky. Obliterated. There's a Chain Frost going to bounce between Eat My Dying. It's going to get brought down by Slinero, but it's too late. Already 2 down. Stun onto Alrin. They'll kill off the Lich. Lich has already done his job. This Doom onto Zed, as well as Slinero. Instantly going to pop on Slinero. Agent Flo does not have his ultimate right now. He's going to pounce out of there, and he will be fine. His Regeneration Rune. CNNA also on the run. Has his Blink Dagger. He'll be able to blink out of there. ANA does not have enough mana for a leap. I think this Mirana might be dead. Especially when he gets body blocked. No, run, Mirana. Has mana for leap now. Should be... You know, he's dead. That's a dead Mirana. But still, 7-14. Oh no, Agent Flo's still in this fight with that regeneration. He's like, yo, guys, you forgot about me. I'm back. However, getting a little bit too overconfident. It's a godlike streak, however, instantly broken by Zed. Yeah, Slark unfortunately did not have a Shadow Dance. Pre-patch Slark, that Slark would have gotten 1, maybe even 2 kills. Or would have guaranteed his life, at least. But having that long cooldown on the Shadow Dance, getting a little bit too overconfident, going to give a large chunk of gold to the TA, I believe, finishing that kill up. TA is going to go straight for the BKB. Definitely not the build that you want to be going for BKB. Definitely BKB is not the build that you want to be going for. Allow me to speak proper English for a little bit. Because you want to be doing damage as TA. You want to be able to get in there, do your damage with the maxed out meld, with the maxed out refraction, and then get out. You don't really want to be sitting and fighting. You want to be bursting people down and then leaving. That's pretty much TA wants to do. That's why TAs get the likes of Power Treads Yasha to keep on their targets and make sure that they actually get the kill and make sure that their disengage is a lot easier. or the blink dagger, so that they could get in a lot easier and then, you know, still be safe to just hopefully walk out. Going for BKB is the result of huge amounts of pressure from now the Puck as well as the Slark. Hell, even Mirana, she's not going for a lot of damage right now, but, well, I mean, we can't go over that just yet, because Zed has to die another time. Now PTP also gonna land a shackle onto Agent Flow, no packed out on that stun. But the Mirana is getting so much farm and just going for more farming items. This is such a greedy Mirana play from ANA, and really, Mirana's a hero that you can do this for, just because she's so effective, even if she doesn't have any items. But I really would have liked to see Mirana get a Yasha at this point, and just because SG, they could end the game with the advantage they have. Like, if they had Mirana use her gold for something that hurts instead of something that's for pure utility, the game would be so over. If they could just do stuff like that, and PTP didn't have a single chance to even pop off Wind Run. She got bursted down, like, that was less than a second all that damage came in. But regardless, SG with firm control of this game, and TG not with any tools to really defend against. They have an Alchemist with the Shadow Blade, which will help their initiation, but Alchemist has gone for the full-on, you know, utility, not farming build. TG, they wanted to fight in the mid game, but that was kind of built on the assumption they wouldn't get steamrolled in the early game. But hell, the Slark really did work by Agent Flow, and now Alchemist is really going to be struggling to keep up. Gold per minute, he's way far behind. Net worth, he's like, where is he? He's third, which is not terrible. He's slightly ahead of the Puck, but really, you'd expect the Alchemist to be way ahead of everyone. That's what Alchemist does, right? But he's forced to go for these Acid Spray build, which of course means fewer points of Grievel's Greed. He's going for a Shadow Blade build as well, so no Hand of Midas, no greedy stuff like that. He's going for the early game fighting, but even if they do take an early game fight, unless it's on the back of a perfect Eat My Dagon hookshot, I don't think it's going to work.
Conceal yourselves.
They do have the mech on the Chen as well as the Hand of God, which is something I don't think SG have just yet. There's not even anyone going for anything remotely like a mech at this point. So TG, they do have the healing advantage. However, they do have the item disadvantage in general. Clark has gone for the Sanjin Yasha, now sitting at 1290 HP, and well, Eat My Dagon going to stand on the front line. Sienna going to throw an orb to thin the creep wave out just a little bit, maybe spot out a hero or two. But there's the Mirana ultimate. I think Handball might have been spotted, although there is no sentry right now. Eat My Dagon on the front lines, just where he wants to be. Where is Slark? Slark is still pushing. Okay, so the Mirana ultimate is going to be used to mess with them. They're going to kill off the Chen creeps as well. That's actually pretty huge. Now they cannot push. TG's push is just gone. They lost the tier 1 tower, which they were trying to go for a trade. Now Slark could either keep pushing this bottom lane tower, does have all the mana in the world to do that, or he could just sprint up there because Dark Shadow Dance movement speed is pretty high, especially with Sanjin Yasha. Arrow going to fly, Orb's going to fly, but really, TG cannot push right now. They need more Chen creeps. And if Chen goes into the jungle, well then, he has a Lich waiting for him. He has a very farmed up Slark waiting for him as well. And SG, they have a Hand of Midas now on the Crystal Maiden. 19 minutes in, which is usually very slow for a Hand of Midas, is actually incredibly fast for a Hand of Midas on a Crystal Maiden.
Radiant's bottom tower
Usually see that
is under attack.
at least in another like 25 minutes, I would say, is when you usually see that, if you see it at all. Agent Flow, he's going solo hunting, and he's going to run into a pile of 4 heroes. Once he pops Shadow Dance, he's going to have all the time in the world to just go to town on pretty much anyone he finds. Ideally, it would be a Chen, just because he can't really do anything. But I think Chen and Clockwork, they're probably equally vulnerable, but Agent Flow is like, yo, I see an Alchemist, and he does have Dust, and Slide Arrow is so very dead right now. Shadow Blade will only hurt you. He's going to land the stun, but I don't think he can escape from this. Yeah, slowing himself with the Shadow Blade. I guess it ultimately does give him a little bit more movement speed, but yeah, it's not as much as it would because of that dust. And now Eat My Dagon. You don't want to be there, bro, because Slark is he's hungry for flesh, and well, he is not afraid to open up a couple tin cans on his way there. Shackle Shot instantly going to be dispelled by Agent Flow. He's going to go into his ultimate form as well. Going to get hook shot straight to the face. Eat My Dagon will actually live for now. There's the mech to keep him alive. Orb going to fly through, and Agent Flow still on the run. He's going to be just fine. He could pounce up to the high ground. Doesn't have to pounce. He can just stroll out of there. Meantime, Puck going to go for Eat My Dagon. He's going to get burst down by the Crystal Maiden. Agent Flow still messing with Zed, still messing with PTP. Tank dropping the Hand of God, but a little bit too late. And, well, SG, they can even keep fighting if they want to. They know they have numberage advantage. Clockwork as well as Alchemist, both down. Agent Flow has everything he needs. He's going to land a pounce onto Zed. There's the Dust as well. Zed is not going to be able to escape this one. Orb going to roll him over. Sienna going to go in for a 2-man coil on top of that. Chain Frost as well. Tank is going to go down. PTP is going to go down. Alchemist is the only one alive because he's actually going for ANA. He might actually get this kill. He's one more hit. He's going to get the return kill in the top lane. Not bad from the Alchemist. Getting a solo kill, which, I mean, there was a leap. I don't know why Mirana was Mirana going for a tower? Well, she kind of was, but they're going to lose the Mirana, but really,
Radiant's
they're
middle
playing
tower
without the
has
Mirana.
fallen.
This is 4v5 right now, SG. They have this Mirana playing PvE, and this Slark is just like, yeah, I'm just going to kill everyone right now. Mirana, not really a factor for SG, which is fantastic for them. Mirana can just play PvE for the next, 10, 15 minutes. Agent Flow is, I guess, true to his name, dictating the flow of this game perfectly. He's almost at, you go for a
Radiant's top
relic.
tower has fallen.
Like, that's freaking terrifying, the thought of that. Like, 22 minutes? Yeah, we'll just get a Sanjin Yasha and a relic, just because we can. 23 from 9, and in TG, they're running out of options. 12,000 gold, 15,000 plus experience disadvantage for them. And SG, they have everything in the world that they need right now. They have the initiation. They have an extra hero who they haven't even been playing with. They have a farmed up Slark who
Radiant's
is so
middle
far
tower
going
is under
to
attack.
wreak havoc. There's no answer from TG. They just have to slowly go through the rest of the towers, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to put all 5 heroes, with the exception of now the Crystal Maiden, who's running as fast as she can. She's running as swiftly as the Wolves of Ice Rack, but the Wolves don't really go that fast. But well, she has a Force Staff, she has a Hand of Midas, she has Tranquil Boots that will not break
Radiant's
on their way
bottom
there.
tower
This
is
bottom
under
tower
attack.
going to be as good as dead. Arrow going to fly, and here we go. Slime Arrow going to go in with the initiation. Is there any true sight? There is a stun onto no one. Going to get pounced out, going to get phase shifted, and Slime Arrow. Initiation not working just yet. They know that there's a Shadow Blade. Are there any Sentry Wards? Dust, 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 dust. No dust. Oh, I think they're prepared for this. But again, Tank. Oh, he has a Sentry. Why is he walking so far in? Tank, what happened? CNA is going to get shackled, but oh, what PTP? Why are you standing still? And why is everyone standing still? Agent Flow is going to land a pounce after an easy arrow. Going to go for the Sound Tower as well. And, well, lots of people dying. Did everyone just... I mean, they had a Sentry Ward. They saw them. Chen, he kept walking in. What is this? What is he doing? And then Wind Ranger got over here and then stood still. And then Clockwork got over here, tried to put up cogs, which I guess is, not completely... You can't fault him completely for that, but he stood still as well. It's a lot easier to kill heroes, guys, when they're not moving. Be sure to write that down. It's a great strategy. Just wait till they stop moving and then kill them. Wow, TG just feeding 3 into the meat grinder that is this SG side. And Throw Gaming, they, I wouldn't say living up to their name, because they really never had the pace of this game. Agent Flow gonna push almost single-handedly this mid lane, and there's nothing that TG could do about it. Slime Arrow is easy pickings. PTP a little bit more difficult because there's a Wind Run, but Wind Run doesn't last forever. This is not Wraith Knight. Only 2.75 seconds of that immunity from that Slark, and even then there's Death Pact, which still hurts a hell of a lot. Chen, Alchemist, I think actually at this point Clockwork is probably the easiest target. Doesn't have the regeneration of Alchemist, and though he is tanky, he's going for a Blade Mail. That's not going to help him. That's really not going to help him. 9 to 26, and well, there's one tier 2 tower still left standing from SG. They could still go for Roshan as well. Just recently scouted out by that Clockwork. Alchemist, fortunately for the TG side, does now have a little bit of right-click damage. He already has proven that he could solo kill off of Mirana. But now Mirana has Manta Style. She's actually going to put the gold to good use. I say good use. I don't have much respect for Boots of Travels on Mirana. Boots of Travels they're a fine item. I think that they have their uses though, and this particular game, a little more split pushing. It's not terrible. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Agent Flow messing with the top lane all by himself, forcing all 5 of the heroes from TG to go over there. The rest of SG could have easily gone for Roshan. Well, maybe not too easily. They kind of don't have many tools at all to kill Roshan, aside from, I mean, they don't have Medallion, they don't have any minus armor. Roshan's going to be very slow, but I think at this point they're farmed enough to go for it. Because Agent Flow could just back off for a little bit, sit right here, regenerate up, let someone else tank for a little bit, and now Alvarin getting that ice armor as well. They need a Rocket Flare to scout right now, eat my Dagon. He's going to fire it the wrong direction. ANA going to back off from the bottom lane, just messing a little bit with that split pushing Mirana. How often do you see that, right? Split pushing Mirana, but buying enough space for the rest of her team to clear out this Roshan. Very, very slow, but with no reaction from TG, it doesn't even matter how slow it is. BKB is up on the Tailor Assassin, or is available rather. But is it a little bit too little? Is it a little bit too late? I think it might just be. I think that just might be the answer. It's like they have a BKB, but Slark at this point doesn't really care if you have a BKB. He has a Basher. It's like, oh, you're magic immune. Well, I'll just knock you over the head. And now with that Aegis on Puck, not Slark. I guess they feel confident enough in the Shadow Dance's ability to protect Slark. They're just going to go straight for the mid lane. And TG, unless they get a 2-hero Shackle with a 2-hero
Radiant's
Unstable
middle
Concoction,
tower
they
is under attack.
need a lot of value out of their spells in order to defend against this. Even though they do have a nice wave of items, the SG side have a pretty good wave of items as well. They have an Abyssal Blade,
Radiant's
and that's pretty good. I'd say that's okay. Okay, Abyssal Blade, Sanyash, 27 minutes in, it's okay. Tower's gonna get worked down really easily. Zed, if you get too close, you're just gonna die. Like, I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Slark gonna get the kill on the tower despite the denial attempt from Zed. Tower's down, and well, they have the Aegis. They want to force a fight right now. However, TG, they don't really want to fight. They just want to turtle up. It will be a little bit difficult for SG to break the high ground, but I do think they're more than capable of doing it. They'll have the Slark just run in with the Shadow Dance, and if he catches anyone with that pounce, they're pretty much dead. And they'll also have the Puck follow up. So back to the mid lane, and well, bowling down the creep wave. ETP with maxed out power shot, getting, oh no, Clock getting a little bit too close. Arrow, perfect on the mark, and the pounce follow up. Slark is on an unstoppable streak. Here comes the Alchemist with an unstable concoction. Handball's like, no, get me away from it. He's gonna be just fine though. There's a not power treads, has the Tranquil Boots, plus a Force Staff, plus now a mech on the Lich, I want to say. Yes, Lich does have that. So the regeneration, 18.5 per second on the Crystal Maiden is pretty absolutely insane. Like, considering he has 834 HP, that's a lot of HP regen per second. Tower gonna start to work down, and Zed, if you get too close, man, if you get too close, this might be the death of you. Slime Arrow, gonna once again get a launch an unstable concoction, hit on the handball, but I think we saw how that ended before. 18 regen per second once the Tranquil Boots are active. Yeah, he's gonna be back up to full HP in no time. Regeneration from SG pretty damn high, and they're just gonna keep chipping away at this lane. Just a matter of time before Mirana lands an arrow or Puck finds another access route with that Yule Scepter. And really, that's just farming kills at that point. Power Shot gonna fly through, hit Handball as well as CNNA a little bit hard, but they're just gonna be completely fine. They have all their generation in the world. Like, there's one ward up here from the TG side, but I'm pretty sure that SG know about it. There's no reason why they shouldn't. I just think they don't have any sentry wards, which is probably the case. They all have dust instead. Yeah, they don't have any sentry wards, so they can't deward that right now. They're going to break the lanes for a little bit. Go pressure everything, because at this point, I think SG, their individual heroes are powerful enough to warrant, like, if you want to deal with the Slark, you need 3 heroes. If you want to deal with the Mirana, you probably need 2 heroes. If you want to deal with the rest of the heroes on the mid lane, you need another 3 heroes. And unfortunately, TG don't have 8 heroes to spare. Age is slowly timing down, and SG, they want to get in on this, but they're really struggling to get up onto this high ground. Their pushing isn't the best, just as a team. They're really strong at killing people, which is what they've been doing for the past 30 minutes of the game. They've just been killing and killing and killing, but if the enemy isn't leaving the base, it's kind of hard to kill them, so you're going to have to crack that somehow. Necro books aren't being built either. They should need good initiation on someone. Agent Flow perhaps laying himself out as bait, but arrow gonna fly, hit onto absolutely nothing. Yeah, they're really gonna struggle to breach this high ground just because they don't really have great pushing heroes. They have no good tools of pushing this. Their initiation is gonna be a Puck, blink into a silence coil, but look at the spread. I mean, these heroes, you're not gonna catch more than 2 in a dream coil. Perhaps ANA just gonna keep throwing those arrows. They're gonna chip down the tower once again. Arrow gonna fly, hit onto Zed. Is this the fight that they want to take? Handball is thinking yes. Alrin's thinking no. Agent Flow's thinking, I'm just gonna kill this tower, guys. You can do whatever the hell you want. Because I have full regeneration. I have a fountain with me at all times. Tower getting brought down very, very low, and TG with no response whatsoever. Arrow gonna fly once again, hit onto absolutely nothing.
Incoming.
Rockets, missiles, arrows, oh my, stuff flying everywhere, but the tower now can drop. Agent Flow and ANA shackled together. This is the fight that they want to take. Is it going to be good enough, though? Agent Flow gonna pop his Shadow Dance, gonna instantly go for Eat My Dagon. Getting pretty hard, hit pretty hard from the belly band, but that's pretty much it. Handball on his way out, gonna live at 20 HP. Now the Abyssal Blade onto Zed. Arrow follow up as well. CNNA burning the Aegis. He's gonna be just fine. Tank getting a little bit too close as well. Wind Ranger flying back, but I think it's a little bit too little. I think it's a little bit too late. That was the fight that could not have gone better for TG. Opening up with a 2-man stun like that, that's ideal. But now they only have 2 heroes up against the full 5 of SG. PTP is going to get annihilated. And then the melee rack is going to fall. Agent Flow with the Shadow Dance back up to near full health, sitting in the acid like it's no big deal, because really it's not. That's the complete mid lane carved off, and you got to hand it to TG. They're still fighting. They have not given up yet, despite the I'm scared to press this button. 25,000 plus gold advantage, 30,000 plus experience advantage. There is absolutely nothing that TG can do about this anymore, especially when tank is hit by a random arrow. So arrow is going to get in for a little bit of initiation on Agent Flow. Agent Flow might even drop here unless he pounces out. Gotta run. He has a Shadow Dance, not quick enough. Tank going to come in with the final nuke. He's going to drop the Slark, but he could buy back just because he can, really. TG, they're fighting tooth and nail for this game, but still, Slark is down, but at this point, all the other heroes, like there's a BKB Force Staff on Crystal Maiden. She could go for, I think, just get a Blink Dagger and then go for the Blink BKB Crystal Maiden. Like, play like this is 2004, right? Good times then. Farming up, rushing a Blink BKB on Crystal Maiden, and then just killing people with Freezing Field. The best of times, the best of pubs. But she could do that right now, because she's freaking wealthy. She has 2-1-11, which is like, usually it's 2-11 and 11 or something like that. Crystal Maiden hasn't really died at all, and TG, they haven't gotten any kills on anyone. They've gotten quite a few on Mirana, actually, but Mirana with the Hand of Midas, the Boots of Travel, getting farm regardless of her death status. Now the mid lane racks are taken down. There is not much hope on the TG side. I mean, I don't like to call games so early, but honestly, they don't have the superior late game. I guess they technically do if Alchemist had another hour to turtle up, but SG, they have a Slark who's almost 6-slotted. They have a Mirana who's farming very, very well. They have, like, scaling support heroes. Like, come on, how often do you see that? The only thing they need is a Lich with the Hand of Midas, and then it's all set. Bottom lane tower going to be the next target. Unfortunately, Slark is a little bit too far away, but ANA still doing some pretty good damage with that Manta style. Tower is going to get chipped down slowly but surely. And once again, no response from TG. Eat my Dagon, thinking of throwing in a hook shot, perhaps. He has a Blade Mail, and he's pretty much got to go unless he just wants to sack this set of Raxes. But Raxes aren't really the kind of thing you want to just sacrifice like that. It's not a good idea. There's the mech. Alrin gets hit by the failed Shackle. The Chain Frost is going to fly through. Actually, go for 3 bounces, not too bad. Templar Assassin get burst down. Tank eating an arrow straight to the face. No heals from him. But here comes Agent Flow, and Zed's like, oh shit, I did not see the Slark. He's going to get annihilated for a second time after buyback. Eat my Dagon is also not going to be very lucky at all. Blade Mail going to return some damage, definitely not enough. There's the orb going to fly through, there's a stun, and Ball going to eat it straight to the face. Freezing Field right outside of the fountain. You know the game is over when the Crystal Maiden is in BKB form, channeling Freezing Field right outside your fountain, and you can't do anything about it. GG has been called, and SG, they're going to move on to the next round. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to be moving on to a different game. I don't know who we're going to be casting. Actually, I think I do. Something Fire, because I agreed to cast them, but hopefully the timings will line up. Thanks for watching, guys. We're going to move on to round number 2 right